In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Bills Mafia, to our 6th edition of the 10 Buffalo Bills draft targets that the Bills need to pick in the NFL draft. This is one of the best series that you're going to find out here. We're going to have 10 targets for 10 picks. We're already halfway through this series. We've talked about guys in Za Frazier, the cornerback out of UTSA, Deion Walker, a massive defensive tackle out of Kentucky. And we've talked about a few other players in Sean Dolick out of the University of Buffalo. Also talked about Trey Amos, another player that the Buffalo Bills need to pick up. Then we talked about Nebraska's defensive lineman, Ty Robinson, who the Bills have been linked to throughout the NFL draft process. And then we're going to add into the mix, shifting it over. We've talked about the defensive side of the ball. You guys are going, hey, listen, Brett, you need to start talking about the offensive side of the ball because they need to put up points as well. So let's move over to the wide receiver position. And the Bills addressed it a little bit by getting Josh Palmer in the free agency. They lost out on a couple of players too in free agency at the wide receiver position, specifically one of the best blocking wide receivers in the NFL in Mac Hollins, and somebody that did the dirty work for the team. So let's bring in a guy in the 2025 NFL draft that not only can go deep and do exactly what Mac Hollins did, but somebody that is going to be a great blocker for the Bills in the run game. So let's talk about the next player on our 10 Buffalo Bills draft targets that the Bills need to draft. And let's talk about wide receiver Tre Harris. And this is one of the guys that I love. He comes out of the NFL draft at Ole Miss. He is running a 4.54 40-yard dash, played in the East-West Shrine Bowl this season. And he is just somebody that I mentioned is an outside wide receiver that is going to make an impact at the next level. Currently stands 6'2", 205 pounds, 9 5/8 inch hands, 31 7/8 inch arms, runs a 40-yard dash at the scouting combine, has a 10-yard split of 1.56 inches, vertical jump of 38.5 inches, 125 broad jump. And he's somebody that's projected to be a late second-round pick, and this is exactly where he fits into Buffalo. Buffalo has those 2 second-round picks, and this is somebody I'm telling you that the Bills need to get in the draft. Currently stands at a overall rating, according to NFL Draft Buzz, of 85.8 overall in the draft. And I mentioned that he's in that second-round range, might go into the late third round, which is where teams are projecting him. I've seen him in mocks early and often at the third round. So this is a player that the Bills could get on day 2 or even day 3. He is a former 2-star recruit who bet on himself. Harris has transformed from small school standout at Louisiana Tech into one of the college football's most dominant boundary receivers. Born February 28, 2002 in Lafayette, Louisiana, Harris initially made his mark as a dual threat quarterback at Comox High School before transferring to receiver at Louisiana Tech. After earning first-team All-Conference USA honors with the Bulldogs, Harris took his talents to Ole Miss and promptly established himself as one of the SEC's premier pass catchers. He stands 6'3", 210 pounds at wide receiver. The metric rises continued in 2024, where he terrorized defensive backs en route to second-team All-American honors. His signature performance came against Georgia Southern, torching them for 225 yards and 2 scores. Harris proved that he could produce against elite competition, consistently winning against SEC corners while racking up 6 100-yard games. What started as a developmental project at Louisiana Tech blossomed into a legitimate NFL prospect who can win at all 3 levels. The numbers tell the story of Harris's evolution. From 562 yards as a sophomore at Louisiana Tech to nearly 1,000 yards in his first SEC season, capped by a monster 2024 performance that saw him average over 18 yards per catch. His 4-touchdown explosion against Mercer announced his arrival, but it was his consistent dominance against SEC competition that truly turned heads. Harris saved his best for last, torching Penn State for 134 yards in the Peach Bowl victory. Some of the strengths for Harris is, number one, he is masterful at the catch point, displays exceptional body control and timing to box out defenders and high point throws like a power forward snagging rebounds. His natural hands catching ability is something that is on display. He plucks the ball away from his frame and with vice grip mitts and rarely allows it into his body, even in traffic. He is elite ball tracker on deep routes, which is something that's going to help Josh Allen. He needs somebody that he can throw the ball to deep, who feels defenders and adjusts his path without losing speed, making him deadly on go routes and post routes. He is a physical monster in the red zone who understands how to use his frame to wall off defenders, giving his quarterback a massive catch radius. He shows savvy in his stems and breaks, and particularly on in-breaking routes where he sets up defenders with subtle head and shoulder fakes. He's excellent field awareness is something that is going to be on display in games. Consistently finds soft spots in zone coverage and works back to the ball when his quarterback is under pressure. Exactly what Buffalo needs here, and he is a Joe Brady guy. Brings a dog mentality to the blocking game, showing consistent effort and physicality even when he's not the primary target. This is going to fit perfectly in Buffalo, especially when they're going by committee at the wide receiver position. There isn't a number one option here. It's everybody eats in this mentality. His clutch performance helped elevate his game in big moments. He saw his 153-yard explosion against LSU and Peach Bowl heroics versus Penn State raise his draft stock. Some of his weaknesses are his acceleration off the line. He lacks explosiveness, sometimes struggling to beat press coverage cleanly against longer physical corners. His route tree needs to develop a little bit more. He relies heavily on vertical seams and could add more intermediate breaks. He can round off his cuts at times, and particularly on cornerback routes where sharper breaks would create more separation. Needs to work on these things. Plays speed is not elite, but builds off his top gear and needs some initial bursts to help threaten cornerbacks vertically. His constant balance could improve. Sometimes he gets knocked off his physical path during coverage on mid routes, disrupting the timing of the quarterback. Now, while all these things are areas that he can improve on, the film shows a boundary receiver with true X potential who can step into an NFL offense and immediately win on third downs and in the red zone. Harris's ability to consistently make contested catches and work all three levels of the field will make him a quarterback's best friend, particularly on offense that emphasizes play action and vertical shots. His best fit is with a team that deploys traditional X receivers and aren't afraid to give their wideouts chances on 50-50 routes. Teams like the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, and Green Bay Packers come to mind as offenses that could use him for leverage situations with high catch radius and physicality while continuing to develop his run game, his route running nuance. Harris projects as a day two contributor who could often play into a legitimate wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 for years to come. While he may not threaten you with his 4.3 speed and the foot race, Harris's combination of size, strength, and great hands, along with his competitive toughness, will make him a reliable chain mover and red zone weapon at the next level. He's shown consistent improvement each year and has the work ethic and mentality to continue that trajectory into the NFL. He's somebody, like I mentioned, that the Bills should look at in day 2 or day 3 of the NFL draft. Well, that's a wrap from the War Room Mafia. Whether it's a sleeper pick, a blockbuster trade, or a future legend in the making, we've got it all covered right here on Nickel City Mafia. So if you bleed red, white, and Bills blue, hit the smash button on the like button and hit the subscribe button. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a move from One Bills Drive. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and as always, go Bills.